Okay, welcome back everyone. CUBE's coverage here, live on the floor at AWS Summit 2022, an in-person event in San Francisco. Of course, AWS Summit 2022 in New York City is coming up this summer. The CUBE will be there as well. Make sure you check us out then too, but we're in day 2 of coverage. Got a great guest here, Ian Massingham, VP of Developer Relations, MongoDB, formerly of AWS. We've known each other for a long time, doing developer relations at MongoDB. Welcome to theCUBE, good to see you.
Great to be here, thanks for inviting me, John. It's great to be here.
So MongoDB is, first of all, stock's doing really well right now, business-wise is good, but I still think it's undervalued. A lot of people think there's a lot more going. Huge success with Atlas, so congratulations to the team over there. What's the update? What's the relationship with AWS? You guys have been great partners for years. What's the new thing?
Yeah, so MongoDB Atlas obviously runs on several different major cloud providers, but AWS is the largest partner that we work with in the public cloud. So the majority of our Atlas workloads for our customers are running on the AWS platform, and just earlier this year we announced a new strategic collaboration agreement with AWS that's going to further strengthen and deepen that partnership that we have with them.
What's the main product value right now on the on Atlas? What's the driving the revenue momentum?
So, I mean, there's a huge trend in the industry towards cloud-managed databases, right? You look back 10, 15 years ago when we first met, most customers were owning and operating their own data infrastructure, either running it in their own data centers, or maybe if they were really early, using the primitives that cloud providers like AWS offered to run their databases in the cloud. When Amazon launched RDS back in 2009, I think it was, we started to see this trend towards cloud-managed databases. We followed that with our own Atlas offering back in 2016, and as Andy Jassy from AWS would say very often, it's offloading that undifferentiated heavy lifting, allowing developers to focus on building applications. They don't have to run and operate the data infrastructure, we do it for them. And that has proven incredibly popular amongst our customers. Atlas right now is growing at 85% compound year-on-year growth.
I've been following MongoDB for a long, long time. I mean, going back to the LAMP stack days, and you think about what Mongo has done as a product, because of the developer traction, Mongo can't do this, just keeps getting better every year. And I think the stickiness with developers is a real big part of that. Can you share your view there, because you're in developer relations? I mean, developers all love Mongo. They're teaching it in school, people are picking up as side hustles, they're coding on it, using it everywhere. I mean, it's well known.
There's a few different reasons for that. I think the main one is the document-orientated model that we use, the document data models that are used by MongoDB are just a natural way for developers to work with data. And then we've invested in creating 16 first-party drivers that allow developers using various different programming languages, whether that's JavaScript or Python or Rust, to integrate MongoDB natively and idiomatically with their software. So it's very, very easy for a developer to pick up MongoDB, grab one of these drivers from their package manager of their choice, and then build applications that natively manipulate data inside MongoDB, whether that's MongoDB Atlas or our Enterprise Edition, on their own premises. They get a very consistent and very easy to use developer experience with our platform.
Talk about the go-to-market with AWS. You guys also have a tightly coupled relationships, and there's been announcements there recently. What's changing most right now that people should pay attention to?
Well, the first thing is there's a huge amount of technical integration between MongoDB and AWS services, and that's the basis for many of our customers choosing to run MongoDB on AWS. We're active in 23 AWS regions around the world, and there's many other integration points as well, like cryptographic protection of MongoDB stored data using Amazon's cryptographic services, for example, or building serverless applications with AWS Lambda and MongoDB serverless. So there's a ton of technical integration. But what we really started to work on now is go-to-market integration with AWS as well. So you can buy MongoDB Atlas through AWS's marketplace. You can use a pay-as-you-go offering to pay for it with your AWS bill. And then we're collaborating with AWS on migrations and other joint go-to-market activities as well.
I mean, so that really marketplace means they get incentives, the salespeople at AWS
of course, but moreover, I mean, it's just really easy for customers, really easy for developers to consume. They don't need to contract with MongoDB, they can use their existing AWS contracting, their existing discounting relationships and pre-purchasing arrangements with AWS to consume Atlas.
It's the classic, meet the customers where they are.
Exactly right, meet the developer where they are and meet the customers where they are now with this new model as well.
I love the marketplace, I think it's been great, even with its kind of catalog and vibe. I think it's going to get better and better over there. Team's doing good work, and it's easy to consume. That's key.
Super easy, reduce that friction and make it really easy for developers to adopt, that's right.
Talk about some of the top customers that you guys share with AWS. What are some of the customers you guys have together, and what's the benefits of the relationship?
There's 3 big joint references that we talk about a lot. One of them is Shutterfly, so in the photographic products area, they built their e-commerce offering with MongoDB and AWS. The second is 7-Eleven. With 7-Eleven, we're doing a lot in the mobile space, so edge applications. We've got a feature in MongoDB Atlas that allows you to synchronize data with databases on mobile devices. Those can be phones, point of sale devices, or handheld devices that might be used in the parcel industry, for example. So 7-Eleven using us in that way. And then lastly with Pitney Bowes, we've got a big digital transformation project with Pitney Bowes where they've reimagined their postage and packaging services, delivering those to their customers using MongoDB as a data store as well.
I want to get into some of the trends. You got a great perspective. You know Mongo from Amazon side, and now you're there. Mongo's, as you pointed out, has been around for a long time. What are some of the stats? I mean, how many customers? How many countries?
Well,
I mean, it's pretty massive.
Mind-blowing. We've got almost 250 million downloads to date. 240 million MongoDB downloads since we launched the first product. We've got 33,000 active customers that are using MongoDB Atlas today, and we're running well over 1 million free tier clusters on MongoDB Atlas across all of the different providers where we operate the service as well. So these numbers are, mind-blowing in terms of scale. But of course, at the core of that is operational excellence. Customers love MongoDB Atlas because they don't have to operate it themselves. They don't have to deal with failure conditions. They don't have to deal with scaling. They don't have to deal with deployment. We do all of those things as part of the service offering, and customers get an endpoint that they can use with their applications to store and retrieve data reliably and with consistently high performance. So.
In the media, something has to be dead. The death of the iPhone, the death of this, nothing ever really dies. MongoDB has always been kind of like talked about, well, it doesn't scale on the high end. Of course, Oracle was saying that. I mean, all the big database vendors were kind of throwing darts at MongoDB, but it kept scaling. Atlas is a whole nother level. Could you just unpack that a little bit more? Why is it so important? Because scale is just, it's horizontal, but it's also performant.
Exactly right. So with MongoDB's document access model that I've described already, you break some of the limitations that exist inside traditional relational databases. So they don't scale well if you've got high concurrency of data access, and they're typically difficult and expensive to scale because you need to shard data once you grow beyond individual cluster nodes. And you'll know that all relational databases suffer from these same kinds of issues. With non-relational systems, NoSQL systems like MongoDB, you have to think a little bit more about design at the beginning, so designing your database to cater for the different access patterns that you have. But in return for that upfront preparation, that design work, you get near limitless scalability, and performance will scale nearly linearly with that scalability as well. So very much more high performance, very much more simplicity for the developer as their database gets larger and their cluster gets larger to support it.
Yeah, Amazon Web Services always had, and Andy Jassy talks to us all the time, every interview I've done with Swami and Matt Wood or whoever on the team, executive levels, always said the same thing. There's not one database to rule the world. Right, obviously talking about Oracle, but even within AWS, customers, they're mixing and matching databases based on use cases. So in the distributed environment, they're all working together. So you guys fit nicely into that. So how does that translate?
I think our strategy slightly counterbalances that. So they would say, use the specific tool for the specific task that you have in hand. Yeah. What we try to focus on is creating the simple and most effective developer experience that we can, and then supporting different facets to the product in order to allow developers to serve different use cases. A really good example was something like MongoDB Atlas Search. So we integrated Apache Lucene into MongoDB Atlas. Customers can very simply apply Apache Lucene search indexes to the data that they've got in MongoDB, and then they can interact with that search data using the same drivers and API that they use for regular queries. So if you want to run search on your application data, you don't need a separate OpenSearch or Elasticsearch cluster. Just turn on MongoDB Atlas Search and use that search facet. So
it's
and we have other capabilities that are similar
vertically integrating into inside within Mongo.
Correct, yes.
That's better.
Yeah, with the goal of creating a really simple and effective developer experience, boosting developer productivity, and helping developers get more done in less time.
You mentioned serverless earlier. What's the serverless angle with AWS with Mongo? Is there one?
So we have MongoDB serverless currently in preview. Has the same kind of characteristics that you would, or the characteristics that you would expect from a serverless database. So consumption-based model, you provision an endpoint, and that will scale elastically in accordance with your usage, and you get billed by consumption units. So much like the serverless paradigm that we've seen delivered by AWS, the same kind of model for MongoDB Atlas serverless.
What attracted you to MongoDB? Also, you knew them before you moved over there. What's going on there? What's the culture like right now?
Oh, the culture's great. I mean, it's a much smaller company than AWS where I was before, it's a very large organization, and one of the things that I really like about MongoDB is, as I've said earlier, we can serve the different use cases that a developer might have with a single product with different aspects to it, different facets to it. And it's a really great conversation to have with a developer customer, to be able to offer one thing that helps them solve 5 or 6 different problems that have traditionally been quite hard for them to wrestle with, quite difficult for them to deal with. And then we've got this focus on developer experience through these driver packages that we have as well. So it's really great to have, as a developer relations pro, have that kind of tooling in my kit bag that can help developers become more effective.
Talk about tooling, because I always have kind of moments where I waffle between I love platforms, tools are being overused, too many tools, a fool with a tool, the expressions. But we're seeing from developers, the ones that don't want to go under the hood, where serverless plays beautifully, they want tools.
They do.
And the new engineering developers that are coming out of college and universities, they love tools.
Yeah, and we actually have quite a few of those built into MongoDB Atlas. So inside MongoDB Atlas, we've got things like an index optimizer, which will suggest the best way that you might index your data for better performance inside MongoDB running on Atlas. We've got a data explorer, which is much like another product that we've got called MongoDB Compass, that allows you to see and manipulate the data that you have stored within your database natively within the Atlas interface. And then we also have a whole slew of different metrics and monitoring capabilities built into the platform as well. So these are aspects of Atlas that developers can take advantage of. And then over on the client side, Visual Studio Code plugins, so you can manipulate and operate with data directly inside Visual Studio Code, which is obviously the most common and popular IDE out there today, as well as integration with things like infrastructure as code tools. So we support CloudFormation for provisioning, we have CDK constructs inside the CDK construct library. We also have a lot of customers using Terraform to provision MongoDB across both AWS and other providers. So having that developer tooling, of course, is super important aspect of the developer experience that we're trying to build for here.
Deploying, observability is a big one. How does that fit in? Because you need to talk, not only measure everything here, but talk to other systems.
Yeah, so we recently announced a provider for Prometheus and Grafana, so we can emit metrics into those providers. Obviously CNCF projects, very common and popular inside customers that are running on Kubernetes. We've got a Kubernetes operator for MongoDB Atlas as well, so you can provision MongoDB Atlas from within Kubernetes, as well as having our own native metrics directly within Atlas as well.
Ian, you're crushing it. You got all the data at the fingertips. Are you going to be at KubeCon this year?
I won't be, but some of our team members will definitely be there,
We'll be at EU, the Cube will be there.
Great.
Thanks for coming on, appreciate the insight. Final word, I'll give you the last word. Tell the audience what's going on, what's new at MongoDB, what should they pay attention to if they've used Mongo and are aware of it? What's the update?
You should come to MongoDB World actually in New York at the beginning of June 7th to 9th in the Javits Center in New York. Going to have our own show there, and of course we'd love to see you there.
Okay, CUBE coverage here, day 2 of AWS Summit 2020. This is theCUBE, I'm John Furrier, your host. Stay with us, more coverage as day 2 winds down. Great coverage.